Question about competitive advantages. So you have a rule of only investing in copycats as opposed to innovators. So my question is, do you believe that there's a first mover advantage?
That's a really good question. So I think that one of the mental models which has served me really well, and it's a weird nuance of humans. And I still don't understand why humans are this way, but they are this way. Humans are bad at cloning and copying. Most humans and most companies almost think that it's beneath them. They somehow think it's kind of, so what that does is it opens up a significant window of opportunities that would not exist without it. So obviously, if we are right on the innovators and the innovators, grow and scale and whatever, we do really well. I mean, but if we look at a company like Microsoft, for example, Microsoft is the ultimate cloner. Okay. After they came up with the basic compiler in 1976 in New Mexico, everything has been copied or stolen from then on. And they're not even very good at cloning. Like, when they tried to clone the Mac, it took them like 15 years and 10 versions to get there, Excel was copied from Lotus, and Word was copied from WordPerfect. PowerPoint was acquired. Access copied Oracle and Sybase. They finally gave up on search and they kind of, went with Google. But, the acronym for Bing but it's not Google, So they not only they're not a good cloner, many times they fail. Like forever they tried to clone Quicken, and they came out with money, and they were never able to get traction there. They put a lot of effort into search, they could never get traction there. So even with being a bad cloner, like for example now, Microsoft has Teams, right? And Teams copied Slate, right? And they will probably, kill Slate because they're so good at eventually getting these things working, and then eventually the incumbent has a problem. If you look at someone like Walmart, for more than 10 or 15 years after Sam Walton founded Walmart, for at least the first 15 years, there was no innovation. Every single thing about Walmart was copied from Kmart and Sears. They just lifted that model. And the reason why Sam Walton spent all this time in all the competitor stores is because he had no ideas of his own. He just looked at what other people are doing, and he copied the best of what he could find. And that's what, so if you look at Walmart, I mean, what is the intellectual property of Walmart? Now, after 15, 20 years, they got, a bunch of competitive advantage with scale and logistics and all of that. But in the first 10 or 15 years, there's no advantage. All they're doing is it's execution. It's great execution on a base model. If you look at Costco, everything about Costco was copied from Price Club. So Sol Price. So if we talk to Jim Sinegal, someone asked Jim Sinegal, what did you learn from Sol Price? He said, it's the wrong question. There's nothing I know that I didn't learn from Sol Price. Okay, so the whole Costco model, everything about it, and actually the cloner became better than the original. Like Walmart became better than Kmart, and Microsoft became better than so many other companies. So I think that, yes, you can invest in the innovators, but I think that's much harder to get right. If some businesses are consistent cloners and they're good at it, And I don't think markets recognize the power of great cloning. So if you can identify, I think even at some level, if you look at someone like Starbucks, he looked at what was happening in Italy and he said, I think this will play in Peoria. And he took that Italian cafe and brought it to Peoria. And the funny thing is now Starbucks is scaling in Italy. Who would have thought that they can scale in Italy, but they're scaling in Italy. So I always feel that if you can identify a business that is good at cloning and has kind of embraced it the way NVR embraced the buybacks, that's a great mental model and advantage to have in your arsenal.